Kara? Kara?
Hi. My name is Kara Young. I am a resident of Narragansett, Rhode Island. And I'm not trying to be flip by saying this, but I also am a woman with a uterus. And I'm a pro-life woman, and I'd like to explain why. I strongly support the pro-life bills here tonight, and I'm strongly against the extreme abortion bill, 7340. A lot of these stories tonight, I agree, have been very moving, but we can't lose sight of something being objectively wrong. I disagree with the premise of unless you're the person in the situation, you can't judge, because what if we were to apply that same principle to other things that are morally wrong, like slavery? Should we say, well, I think slavery is bad, but if my neighbor wants to have a slave, then, that's their choice. I can't tell them what to do with their household. If they want to have a slave, they can do that. Obviously, that is not something that would be right. And we as a society can say, listen, killing an unborn child is wrong. There are no circumstances when it's okay. A lot of things have been brought up as if that's an abortion when in fact it isn't. If a baby has died already, then that's not an abortion. It would be incorrectly labeled as an abortion. If somebody has an ectopic pregnancy, a lot of people don't realize this, but the Catholic Church says it's okay to treat the woman. If the woman has cancer, for example, and undergoes cancer treatment, and as a result of that treatment, the baby dies, that's not an abortion. You're allowed to treat the woman. If you have an ectopic pregnancy and the baby is in the wrong place, you're allowed to go in and move the baby from that place. If the baby does die as a result of that, it's not an abortion. It's okayed by the Catholic Church. So it's not something, these things are brought up to make it seem like that's why we need abortion when we do not. And honestly, I've never seen something that is so objectively and obviously wrong as the killing of unborn children, presented as something right, something benign, and even as a civil right, even as something healthy. This is women's health. I mean, it's almost like the emperor of no clothes. And I am not condemning women who've had abortions. I am really not. I know that many women have had them, including friends of mine, including one of our friends is Alveda King, who's the niece of Martin Luther King Jr. She had 2 abortions when she was younger, and she regrets them now. She's pro-life, and she's actually a great civil rights leader, and she speaks around the country. But it doesn't mean that she has to defend her abortion. I mean, people have made all sorts of mistakes in their lives. And you can say, listen, it was wrong. You don't have to keep defending it. And when, listen, look at the facts. You've got a baby. They have arms, legs, a head. They have a beating heart at 18 days. They have fingernails. They're sucking their thumb. They're swimming around. They're kicking. They're alive. I mean, it's biology 101. There is no getting around the fact that they're alive. If we can say that a one-cell organism on Mars is life, you're going to tell me that a 500-cell baby at day 3 after fertilization is not alive? I mean, it defies all logic. I can't believe that there could be even, the medical community today is still saying this is, well, we don't know. Marianne Sorrentino had come up here before saying, I'm not going to tell you when life begins. The Supreme Court doesn't even know when life begins. That was 45 years ago, okay, when Roe v. Wade was there. Besides the fact that it was a corrupt decision, they didn't even have ultrasounds then. Now you can see the baby in 3D moving around. There's just absolutely no denying the humanity of the baby. And to call it a procedure, a termination, these kinds of whitewashing of terms, it's the killing of a baby. They go in, they suck off the arms and the legs, they crush the skull, they do that in some of them, and the other ones they inject saline solution into the baby until they swallow it and then burn to death from the inside. This is what abortion is. I mean, I'm not trying to, be righteous or whatever. I mean, this is the reality of abortion. It's not women's health. There is nothing healthy about it. The baby dies, and the women, somebody had said that it's safer than a colonoscopy. I mean, there are so many documented risks. You do have at least a 40% higher risk of abortion, and of breast cancer from induced abortion, and I'll tell you why. And just to, somebody had just gone up here and said, no, that's not true. It is true. Louise Britton, the lead researcher, who was the one in a 2003 study who had said that it wasn't true, she reversed her decision in 2009 and admitted that it is, in fact, it gives you a much greater risk of breast cancer. And you can look that up. Look up Louise Britton and look at how she reversed her decision. They love to point to the 2003 study because they like to say, oh, no, that was not, that's not actually true. When a woman gets pregnant, they have a mass proliferation of their breast cells. Okay, but the problem is, those are all type 1 and type 2 immature and cancer susceptible breast lobules. When the woman is about week 32 in their pregnancy, the baby, as a protective mechanism for the mother, secretes human placental lactogen. And what that does is it matures those immature and cancer-susceptible breast lobules into type 4 cancer-resistant breast lobules. So when the baby is killed, when the unborn baby is killed before week 32, when they get the protective mechanism, the woman is left with many more places for the breast cancer to start. And that's the reason why. I mean, it's logic. I mean, there have been 57 epidemiological studies showing causation, and showing a correlation, and 33 of those, at least 33, I think it's more like 35 now, show causation, which is a very statistically significant finding. I wanted to read you guys something really quickly because Marian Sorrentino had talked about all of the illegal abortions and everybody will be hemorrhaging, all of this type of thing if we don't have legal abortion. I'll just wait until people can hear me. Okay, thanks. Bernard Nathanson, who is really like Mr. Abortion, okay, he's the one who, the head of NARAL, National Abortion Rights Action League, as it was called back in the day, he, along with some others, like Gloria Allred, they were the ones that got Roe v. Wade passed, okay? And Bernard Nathanson became pro-life later on. Of course, they didn't give him as much attention then. He did the film The Silent Scream, because he actually saw an abortion on ultrasound, and he saw the baby screaming and trying to get away from the cannula, which he wasn't able to do. Now, here's his own words, okay? Bernard Nathanson said, that here's how we got Roe v. Wade passed. He said, we persuaded the media that the cause of permission abortion was a liberal, enlightened, sophisticated one. Knowing that if a true poll were taken, we would be soundly defeated, we simply fabricated the results of fictional polls. We announced to the media that we had taken polls and that 60% of Americans were in favor of permissive abortion. This is the tactic of the self-fulfilling lie. Few people care to be in the minority. We arouse enough sympathy to sell our program of permissive abortion by fabricating the number of illegal abortions done annually in the U.S. The actual figure was approaching 100,000, but the figure we gave to the media repeatedly was 1 million. So he brought it from 100,000 to 1 million. Okay, repeating the big lie often enough convinces the public. Okay, the number of women dying from illegal abortions was around 200 to 250 annually. The figure we constantly fed to the media was 10,000. So 200 were actually dying from he said, let's just call it 10,000. Okay, and that's the same sort of tactics you see today by Planned Parenthood, the largest abortion chain in America, which annually kills over 300,000 unborn children. They do have their executives on tape saying, yeah, we sell these body parts. They do have it. But, Planned Parenthood just says, let's just say it's fake news. Let's just say it's not. And then everybody just believes it. I mean, it's absolute diabolical propaganda. They are a criminal, evil, immoral organization, as is abortion. Now, I'm making a distinction between abortion and people who have had abortions because...
Excuse me, Mrs. Young. If you would stick to the topic of a bill that you're opposed to or a bill that you're supporting.
Okay, I'm opposed to Bill 7340 because I think that we need far less abortion in Rhode Island, not more. The women are harmed not just with increased risk of breast cancer, but by uterine laceration, future premature birth, because the cervix has to actually be kind of cranked open to do the abortion, and then when they're pregnant in a future pregnancy, they have the baby can, it facilitates a premature birth. They have a much greater rate of depression, suicide, placenta previa. in short, it's not health. It's not healthy for anybody. And I am just as pro-woman as I am pro-baby. I'm pro-life all the way around. I'm pro-life when it comes to the end of life as well. I'm pro-life with being against unnecessary wars. I'm against the death penalty. I mean, it's people, I think people see pro-life people as the enemy because they have to build up a defense mechanism because they either have had an abortion themselves or they know somebody who has and they think to themselves, this just can't be wrong because then I can't handle it. Well, listen, you're not alone. You're not alone. So many people have had abortions. It was not the right thing to do, but it's not the right thing to do either to say it was right. And we don't say slavery was right.
Excuse me, Mrs. Young. You're, I think, off topic.
Okay.
Again, there are a lot of people waiting for to
Okay,
testify.
I'll just wrap up now. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I just wanted to touch on how somebody had said, called potential life. There was a rabbi who had spoken about this bill, and she was advocating for Bill 7340, saying that, she said Judaism puts I forgot, I'm looking through my notes, more of an emphasis on existing life rather than potential life. But what I wanted to say is this. Besides the fact that it's a scientific fact that, you know, the baby is alive, that's not disputed, really. And just this past Monday, we celebrated the Annunciation, which is when Mary came, and I know not everybody's Catholic, but this is when the archangel came and told Mary, you know, that she was going to be having Jesus. We celebrate the conception of Jesus, not just his birth on Christmas, but that's the day of his conception. She was talking about potential life. Even if you're going to completely disregard biology and say that you don't understand that this is a life and it's just a potential life, even if you did that, wouldn't our children be the ones with the most potential? I mean, everybody can agree on that. Don't our children have more potential even than us grown-ups? And then wouldn't it stand to reason that a baby in the womb would have more potential than any of us? They have more of their life ahead of them than any of us do. So I think it's just unjust to deny these babies their humanity and their life. Thank you very much.
Thank you.